Commitment and who have great potential. I told you that functions of the house. One is representation. You know, each legislator is a representative of a state constituency within the state. So on the whole, you're having 40 representatives from 40 state constituencies of the state. So representation is one of the major functions of the House. Of course, next to that is lawmaking itself, which is what most people out there know the legislature to be for. That is, making laws for peace, order, and good governance. So there is also a major function. There's also this function of what we call the oversight function, or we call it overseeing. You tend to oversee the activities of the executive arm of government. In a presidential system, here you have the three arms, the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. They're supposed to be independent, of themselves. And the legislative arm has these oversight functions. For example, when you approve the budget, you want to monitor, this budget, that what you have approved money for is what that money is being spent for. So that's the oversight function of the House. And you want to know the activities of various state house, various departments, ministries. Okay? Of course, we also have this function of legitimizing. That is, you want to legitimize the actions of the executive arm. For example, the governor of the state cannot just pick commissioners and say, yes, I have picked this one, he's my commissioner, and that's all. No, you have to legitimize it, and that is why the commissioners, they have to come to the House for the appointment to be considered by the House. Okay? So that, of course, we will screen them and we confirm, of course, or set aside such nominations depending on our own collective assessment of that individual. So, sir, now you have made us realize some of the major functions of the State House Assembly, and we believe making laws, enacting laws is one of the major functions of the State House Assembly. So, in this sense, to what extent do you believe the enactment of laws and initiation of laws has been able to help the masses and at the same time move the state forward? Okay.
Yes, I did say earlier on that laws are enacted for peace, order, and good government, or good governance. And what is good governance? We are talking of attaining the greatest good for the greatest number of people within the state. That is good governance. Now, we've been able to enact some new laws so far in the life of this legislative body. For example, the Supplementary Appropriation Law of 1999. Of course, everything you do is, everything is virtually dependent on the funds availability, and we need to allocate these funds for the various projects. So, enacted that law, Supplementary Appropriation Law of 1999. Okay? Of course, you remember we also put in place, because the Constitution, the 1999 Constitution, under Section 7, empowers the State House of Assembly to put in place a law for local government administration. So, in that respect, we also enacted a law on local government administration, which is now a law that guides the activities of the local government by way of administration. Of course, related to that is a law that is supposed to guide the election at that level of government. But that has not been fully completed, but it's in the second stage now. In the process of passing a law, we talk of 3 readings: the first reading, the second reading, the third reading. So the second reading is the stage where you look at the merits of a particular bill, and then you pass it on to the committee of the House, or the standing committee of the House, or the committee of the whole House to now consider, and then there is a report on it that is brought back to the House, it is considered, and then when you consider it, you ratify before you move on to the third reading, which is the last reading, before you now send it to the governor for assent. So that is still in that second stage. Now we also pass this what people adopt controversial, the Lagos State constituency development, Lagos State project development, constituency project development bill. Of course, which is not a law, because the governor vetoed it. The thing was recalled and passed by overwhelming majority, more than 2/3, which is what the Constitution says, in terms of the House passing a bill into a law where the governor has refused, giving assent to. So it is a law that essentially says, it provides for the setting aside of a percentage, talking of about 15% of the total capital expenditure budget for the provision and maintenance of infrastructures in the state constituencies. That's what that law provides. And of course, it also provides for the establishment of a project monitoring committee, committee headed by a member of the House representing that particular constituency to determine the project, that is, identify the project to be embarked upon in the constituency, of course convey the decision, that is, that decision on the project, convey to the appropriate agency of the executive arm of government. They monitor its implementation or execution, and for writing a periodic account or report on that project to the and submitted to the State House of Assembly. Not all that the law provides for. There is nowhere in that law where any member of the State House of Assembly is going to be involved in either the management of that project or the execution of the project. So no money is handled by a member. We just monitor, which I mentioned earlier on as being part of the oversight function of the House.
So I believe the honorary speaker would like to shed more light on how justified the opinion held by some that some legislators within the State House of Assembly manifest a gross inadequacy in their duties. Maybe you want to talk on this in order to clear whatever the public or any
gross inadequacy. Well, I think I don't share that opinion that some legislators manifest a gross inadequacy, in terms of appreciating what is expected of them. I think that's just a matter of individual's opinion. But be that as it may, I want to say that when you look at the background of the legislative arm of government in our situation, in our country, then I think the legislative arm should be given kudos, because when you look at the military incursion into politics, the military, they came and like a thief in the night, they came to steal, to destroy, and to kill, if you like. That's what the biblical analogy, where the thief comes in the night to steal, to destroy, and to kill. And that analogy may just well hold for the military. So I'm saying in essence that the military, had destroyed so many institutions, and one of the most bastardized institutions is the legislature. Of course, each time the military came, the first institution to be attacked was the legislature. And having now gone through, of course, in the last 15 years or thereabouts, you had the executive, you had the judiciary. The judiciary might have been emasculated somehow, but at least it was still existing. But unlike legislature, it was not there. So it's like now coming from the ruins of the past and now trying to find your feet. So you have to grapple with so many problems. You probably know that in some legislative houses in the country, serious at the time we came in, they had to make do maybe with school halls as their assembly chambers and all that. So many things not being available. You are kind of you are disadvantaged in so many ways. But in spite of all these limitations, you still rising up to the occasion and trying to do your best. So I'm saying that yes, there might have been shortcomings here and there, but I think this should not be enough to say that gross inadequacy is being manifested by the don't forget that the democracy itself is not what you can just say, oh, we have come into it. It's a continuous process. It's a continuous learning exercise, and of course you make your mistakes, you learn from your mistakes, and you learn to, you get up and you move on, and that's where it should be.
There's no doubt that setting up of the committees have actually helped. Let me take the case of the environment and physical planning. We've had a series of complaints that we have looked into. We've invited various heads of parastatals or ministries to come and tell us about some of the allegations or petitions written to the committee, and we liaise with the appropriate executive organs on these things. Look, I think Lagosians should be proud of this administration. The question of this revenues collection, I am now happy that Lagos streets are clean. These are the days of cosmetic surgery that previous administrations have been doing. We found out this private sector participation, this using of these polythene bags and the collection, and also these three bin sites which looked so ugly in the past. It's not been addressed, and I think in the last budget we get reference to that construction of those private dump sites. You can also see that some of the dump sites are well fenced now with roads, third road being constructed for easy access of vehicles to go and dump wastes. Unlike in the past when vehicles or cat pushers just dump all these waste by the roadside. Because immediately I became the chairman of, I was appointed chairman of environment and physical planning. I took a tour of all the installations of Roma, and we saw some of those things, and we discussed about them, how to make it really work and address the real issue, not just for the federal something solution. Now you attack the solution right from the root, which we are doing now. And I tell you that very soon Lagos people will give kudos to this government. They have been seeing it, it's manifesting itself. But this is one of the areas where the committees are doing a good job.
Since we've been trying as much as possible as individual, as committee level, and as a whole, the legislative as a whole, to see that we work towards fulfilling those objectives. What we've tried to do for the past 1 year is that we've as much as possible, because education standard in Nigeria as a whole has gone down the drain. So we are trying to pick up from the scratch, and like free education at all levels, we are able, through the governor of the state, executive governor, Senator Ahmed Tinubu, to at least have been able to reach 75% of our target. What we did right now is we have about 200, before we came in, we have about 200 children in classrooms, and we are trying to scale it down to 50 in a classroom, and we've been able to achieve that through construction of structures. We've been able to provide some logistics that will make teachers a welfare package to be active, because the teachers right now, you see, they are not at the top of their profession. It's like they are just trying to do it as a part-time work. They are not using 100% of their energy to. So what we are trying to, what we have achieved right now is we have at least 50 children to a class by one teacher, and you'll see if you go around all these secondary schools now, where the government has been trying as much as possible to provide benches, to provide classrooms, and to provide exercise books. So free education is on course. Ambulances procured by this administration, they are stationed right there in the premises of General Hospital Ikeja, and there are numbers. There are 4 numbers that will be called by every member of the public. But in case you don't even remember any of these numbers, just dial 123. I think, can't you see that's an innovation to make things easier for people? If you just dial 123, the operator will answer you, and within a very short time, an ambulance will get there with full complement of resuscitating equipment and medical personnel, on board the ambulance, and they will attend to the person, lift the person to the ambulance, be attending to that person right inside the ambulance until they get to the hospital, and they continue. And the policy of the Lagos State government now, as a matter of fact, is even such that while they do all this, they will ask you who you are or how much you are going to pay. They first of all, keep you alive. After you might have been stabilized, you can then start talking about money if necessary. I think this also demands, the government also deserves commendation for that.
With the full establishment of democratic process and the setting in motion of a sincere, accountable and people-oriented government, it behooves each and everyone to contribute their quotas to the sustenance of democracy. We all have a role to play in order to justify our collective struggle for democracy. The Lagos State of Assembly, on whom all legislative powers rest, without doubt is up to the task to discharge its constitutional functions for the growth and development of the state. This is a task to be done, and all the members, without exaggeration, are up to the task.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu is trying to interfere. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my rare honor and privilege to present before you this great man, Lagos State, this dominant fighter of Nigeria. This God is a flesh of unity relationships. He has vowed abandon on the fight for the welfare of our people. This was a man who did not even think of resting the victory for himself, because when the signal was given for a return to democracy, for the practice of democratic political system, and the signal was given for politicians to come into the political arena, and I happened to be in London at the time when he was in the US, and I told him, now that our mentor, Chimene Guardiola, was so long, it was this and proper, and it was imperative upon me to come and contest elections into the Lagos State Executive Governor's office. And he said, no, he did not do all he did for the emancipation of our people just to come and to God government. And I answered him, with all the ambition of yourself, with all the loyalty that you gave to the Jewish struggle, every Guardiola, wherever he was, would have preferred you to be the sergeant of power at Alausa than any others who went and died with military dictatorship. I am happy to inform you that with others that put pressure on him, eventually succumbed, came home, plunged himself into the primaries, which was acrimonious, but at the end of the day, he emerged victorious and took the oath of office. And this 65 years later, ladies and gentlemen, is here before you to give account of the stewardship of the Lagos State. It is an achievement of the past year in not giving us any reason to the past at all. The battle for the improvement of life in Lagos State is continuous. It has only just begun. Lagos State is comparable to any of the major cities and states in the world. Our mission is to ensure that the state acquires its status. That is fully international. The kind of progress of amenities, the advancement of the soul of human records and happiness, and the degree of interaction between government and the people. Our government is a peculiar task in the diversity of the ethnic composition of the country. The effect is that reconciliation at the ethnic level in any part of Nigeria usually echoes and acquires similar in many elections. Constantly, we are trained to be very rich. We cannot and we are not for slavery. Because it is this diversity that is the source of our strength and uniqueness. We are already working. It is a challenge that we shall continue to face as a foreign line power. We have put our hands on the plow. We cannot go down. We intend to continue to bring the grace and confidence. The people themselves must continue to play their part as the next equipped monitors of the democratic process. We must continue to insist on the sacredness of the democratic process and the power of the people as the source of legitimacy within the state.
production figures published by the Project Coordinating Unit of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, FACU, and Rural Development indicate that cassava sugar production in Lagos State increased from 250,000 tons in December 1998 to 420,000 tons by the end of year 1999. Also, maize production in the state increased from 55 tons in 1998 to 100 tons in year 1999. The same increasing trend was also recorded for other food crops and fish catch in the state. This address cannot be concluded without thanking the state governor for giving the welfare of the state farmers and fisher folks paramount position in its consideration. It is my hope that the direct beneficiaries of the state's agricultural programs will continue to encourage the government by ensuring that they work hard to achieve self-sufficiency in food production in Lagos State.
Ongoing effort, we intend to put to use several studies and experiences gathered from our interaction with agricultural administrators in these countries and other stakeholders in the subsector on the future implementation of our agricultural program. Similarly, we shall evolve programs, policies that will make the subsector attractive to private investors who will bring their wealth, experiences, and especially entrepreneurship to impact on the prices of farming and the sale of output. It is in this regard that I call on our farmers, other stakeholders, and agricultural administrators in the state to join our administration in its steady stride towards the achievement of our agricultural programs.
Gentlemen, on behalf of the management of Lagos State Agricultural Development Authority, it is our pleasure to express our sincere gratitude for the honor given to us today by providing to our frontline extension officers, line name motorcycles, to enable us perform our duties of disseminating improved agricultural technologies to farmers in the state. We see this as a major effort of this administration towards ensuring abundant food supply to the teeming population of Lagos State. We wish to assure His Excellency that these motorcycles will be used for the intended purpose.
Sufficient food and commitment to humanity. I have hereby commissioned motorcycle for farm services.
On Tuesday, 30th of May, the governor and his entourage were at the premises of Lagos State Broadcasting Corporation to commission a Co-FM office block.
There is a plan to inject the needed fresh air into the management of these stations, into the running of these stations. There are plans to make these stations more competitive in the media industry so that we can together return these stations to the erstwhile era where Lagos State Broadcasting Corporation was the toast of viewers and listeners in Lagos. We cannot do this if we restrict ourselves to the traditional ways of managing and running a media house. We have to procure the needed equipment in terms of transmitters, in terms of editing machines, but we also have to invest heavily in the personnel, because without the required mental capacity and competence to run this equipment, all efforts of government in that direction will be in vain.
And it was the resolve and determination of this administration at inception to complete all abandoned projects, particularly those that affect welfare of our people, not only the workers and the economic progress of the state. And that part of that promise is being kept today. We want to make life more meaningful to the great people of our state. Following a presentation on the need to complete the project to arrest acquisition of accommodation by eco-FM manager, the microwave project set in motion to actualize your dream. The result of the effort is what we are commissioning here today. While commending the effort of the management and staff of Radio Lagos Eco-FM for bringing its two stations to an enviable position, I wish to implore them to make good use of this complex, particularly for the purpose it was meant to serve. And to the gorgeous of our people, I hereby declare the building the hope of
photo exhibition mounted by the Ministry of Information and Strategy was also inspected by the entourage.
This center is going to become very popular for dental service. because you are going to commission today, Your Excellency, arguably the best dental center in the whole of Nigeria. By the time you go in here, you will meet the most modern dental sets and units in this Nigeria. They are there, including X-ray facilities and coupled with dental laboratory facilities by which dental features and dentures can be manufactured and fitted all within this center. The idea to develop a modern dental clinic complex with a state-of-the-art equipment in this health facility is born out of our desire to decongest similar services available in Lagos Island and Ikeja General Hospitals, and also out of our resolve to provide the broadest variety of goods and services to the largest number of our good people in Lagos State. To complement this effort at improving the capacity of this health center, we are also providing a new kitchen and a canteen so that our health worker will not have to leave the hospital premises for meals while at work. To the glory of God and indivisible commitment to humanity, I declare the clinic open.
It's about the best. In fact, it's the best. It has an X-ray viewing per component. Can move up and down on its own. We will switch on the freezer.
Yes, come in.
Don't say that. Nobody knows that.
How much power? For the glory of God and the benefits of our people, I declare the great word open.
The private course, private the new surgical board, so that they can be doing operations small. This plaque was unveiled to commemorate the official commissioning of Randall Center Kitchen Canteen by His Excellency Senator Bola Tinubu, Governor of Lagos State, on Tuesday, the 10th of May here. Thank you.
For the glory of God, the benefits of our people, I'm a life Joseph. I
Lekki Phase 1, renamed Femi Okunu Housing Estate at Lekki, Etiosa local government, was also commissioned.
the faithful execution of the housing project, apart from satisfying the desire of subscribers to hold homes of their own, also generates employment for the layer of artisans and even unskilled labor, thus contributing to the poverty alleviation program of our government. Therefore, it gladdens my heart to note that apart from the 100 units of terrace houses proposed for Area 2 of the scheme, a business park concept has been evolved for Lekki Area 3, which will further employ large numbers of people and facilitate other commercial activities within the locality. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to assure you that this government will continue to support any of its agencies which exhibit total commitment to the actualization of the administration's programs.
The personality whose name the estate was named was also on hand to grace the occasion.
For Lagos State, I pray that during your tenure, as I said earlier on, Lagos will become greater. And to the residents of this new estate, I hope that they will take the admonition of the governor to heart to keep the environment. The environment is a huge problem facing all of us today. In fact, that's the theme of my address to the forum at Peninsula Restaurant this morning. That we have to keep the environment and make the environment better than we found it.
Within a year, Lagos State government, under the now democratic rule, has reflected that true meaningful development can be harnessed to make the state a better place for everyone. Several activities were put up to mark the year. In our next edition, the program will bring you the highlights of other events. Sunday, January 27, 2002, started like a normal resting day for the majority of the Nigerian populace. Besides the unusual harmattan that was a bit striking, Christians filled the churches and conducted their worship just like on any other Sunday. However, as the day dragged on with a hazy afternoon dust, still nothing reflected that the quiet resting day would end with explosions, loud, thunderous, and extremely tragic, especially for the people of Lagos. The pandemonium that resulted was, as expected, extremely unprecedented. There was total confusion. At the initial stage, nobody could pinpoint the situation. The reaction to the thunderous noise, the blaze rising high in the sky, and houses engulfed in fire fueled such a great fear in people that they took to the streets, running, screaming, crying, and totally distraught. It was one hell of a Sunday.
Now, for yesterday, all this day happen. As it happen now say we are only with the other water, and now they say they run. Now I run reach my true. Now then, people give me crop to everything I take the time to do my true. I carry a run. But I will not know the place where I was going with tissue, the should do. I tell God that.
In the melee, all sorts of reasons were given. Some said the military was fighting within itself, and that there had been an attempted coup. Some even said that some terrorists had invaded the city of Lagos. Meanwhile, the explosions continued and more destruction followed. And this further heightened the fright and escalated the fleeing to Would a committed and people-oriented government permit such mayhem to continue? Realizing the catastrophe such total confusion and despair could cost the people,